Hi, welcome to the App Code blog on YouTube. Today we're going to finish up our series on building a tab bar application. We're going to be adding a table view to our third view and then linking one of the rows up to a new view, which we've already created. If you want to get the code that we'll be starting with, you can do so at www.theappcodblog.com/code/hello world tab 4.zip. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Now, like I said, we're going to be adding a table view to our third view. And then when we select a row in that table, it's going to load up a new view. That new view is going to be this green view 2, which we used in our last part of the tutorial. And there's no point in creating another one, so we'll just use this one again. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open up our blue view nib file in Interface Builder, and we'll go ahead and add the table view to it. So we're just going to find the table view here in our library and drag it on there. Now once it's on there, we need to set its data source and its delegate. We do that in the connections inspector, and we just drag from there to the files owner. Just like that. Okay, so that's it for the blue view. Now, we need to work with our main view a little bit because we want to add a navigation controller to it, to this third tab, just like we did in the last tutorial with our second tab. So to do so, we want to select Tab, Bar Controller, go to the Attributes Inspector, and here where it's blue, we're going to change that to Navigation Controller. And once again, remember from last time, after we do that, we have to expand this, dig in, find our view controller, and set it back to the blue view controller and set our nib file to the blue view. Alright, that takes care of all that. Let's go back to Xcode, and we're going to be working in the blue view here. So, the first thing we're going to do in this header file is we're going to import our view controller, and we're going to be using this green view 2 controller, and that's the view that we're going to load up when we select one of our rows. Like I said, we could have created a new view to do that, but I don't want to waste your time by having you watch me create a new view when we have one we can use right here. So we'll go ahead and initialize that instance variable and set its properties. Just like this. Now we want to synthesize this variable in our implementation file, so let's go ahead and do that. And we also need to import that view controller into our implementation file. Alright, just like I always do, I'm going to strip out a lot of the stuff that we don't need for this particular app, so it doesn't get in our way. Now, because this view controller is our delegate and our data source for our table view, we need to implement all the necessary methods for a table view. Now the easiest way to go about this right now is just to create a new UIView controller subclass that is a subclass of a table view controller. And then we're just going to grab all of the methods out of there and copy them over. So let's go ahead and copy all of these and put them in our blue view controller implementation file. We've got one more to do here. Just like that. Now before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and delete those files. Okay, now we've got our methods for the table view in here, and we need to set a couple of things here. For instance, in the number of sections in table view, we're going to go ahead and set that to 1, so there'll be one section. number of rows in section, we're just going to go ahead and set that to 3. I'm just coming up with arbitrary numbers here. And then we're going to set a text label in our cell here. We're just going to hard code it, so nothing special going on here. And we're just going to name it Green View 2, because that's the view that we're going to be loading. Okay, got that taken care of. Now, in this did select row at index path, that is where the code goes to load a new view when someone selects a row. So the first thing we're going to do here is declare a temporary view controller variable that we can use to then set our variable that we had declared in the header file. You'll see here in just a minute. So we'll go ahead and alloc this, and then we want to init with nib name, and the name of the nib is greenview2, and the bundle we'll just set to ns bundle main bundle. We did the same type of thing with our last tutorial. And then we're going to set our variable that we had created in the header file equal to this temp. And this just helps with our memory management. And then we can go ahead and release the temp file. Just like that. Now the last thing we're going to do is we need to push that new view into place. We're going to go self, navigation controller, and it has a method push view controller, and we're going to push this green view 2 view controller in there. I'm going to say animate yes, and I almost screwed up here. We need to set this to self, otherwise it's not going to do what we want, because we had declared this in a header file, so we have to tell it that we're using the one that we declared in that header file. Okay, let's run this and see if I've forgotten anything. So now we go to our blue view and we see we have our navigation bar up here now that we added, and here's our table view with the 3 rows, and if I select one of these rows, boom, it loads up our green 2 view. Just like that. And that's how you add a table view to a view in a tab bar app. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little series on building a tab bar application. Obviously there's a lot more you can do with it, but this will just get you started on building the user interface that you'll build all the other stuff on. So I hope that was useful. Again, please come visit me at my blog at www.theappcodeblog.com and see all the great tutorials I have there. A lot of them are a lot more advanced than what I'm doing here on YouTube at the moment. I'm trying to catch up with my YouTube videos, so I hope you enjoy this, and feel free to leave a comment or subscribe to my channel so that you'll know when I upload the next video. Thanks a lot.